If you want news and rumors that appeal, welcome to the Dusty Wheel.
Hey, welcome back to the Dusty Wheel.
If you want news and rumors that appeal, welcome to the Dusty Wheel.
Hey, welcome back to the Dusty Wheel.
Hey, welcome back to the Dusty Wheel. I'm your host, the Innkeeper, and this is our live call and talk show all about the Wheel of Time. And it's awesome to have you back here on a Watt Wednesday. As you see down there at the bottom, that's right, Wheel of Time. Oh, my computer's in the way. There you go. Wheel of Time pre-show before Season 3, Episode 5. Tel'aran'rhiod, actually can't wait for that. Been wanting to see more and more of the Dream World, and we will here shortly. We're only... 6 hours away, 6 or 7 hours away from the premiere of Episode 5. But until then, that's right, until then we get to talk about the Wheel of Time and everything that's come before. And to do that with me, and I know that's why you're really here right in this moment and what you're really very excited for, and me too. So, welcome to the Dusty Wheel. Andy and Brian, how you both doing?
Good, how are you? Great, thank you very much.
I'm doing fantastic. Everyone at the top of your screen, if you don't know, it's Andy Scrase. And by the way, I pronounced that last name correctly this time. It took me a while, but I appreciate that I got there. Andy.
You sound like you pulled an intercostal. That's my surname.
It was funny, as I think I went back and watched it, and I was like, I pronounced it correctly, and then I got nervous that I was wrong, and then I started pronouncing it another way. So, yes. Oh, they are saying that there's some major echo. My echo. Hold on a second. I'll check. I'll try. Here. We'll figure it out, everybody. This is a... Right? Is the audio any better now? Let's see. Let's see if the audio is any better.
Is it one of us?
Why don't you maybe mute yourselves? We'll find out. Let's see. How's the audio now, everybody? And there. How about? Let me see. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Yes, Matt's. How about right now? We'll give them a second. How about now? Well, it's like it was like a 20-second delay. Much better. Still off, but echo. Let's see. Interesting. I wonder why they... Matt is the issue. That sounds better. Try the guest audio. No, that's good. You fixed it. Better now. Okay. They're all saying it's much better now. The children approve. Okay. Go ahead and unmute yourselves and let's see how that's working.
All right. Well, hopefully still don't have the problem. I'm unmuted though.
How about now, guys? Is it any better with all of us talking? We'll see. Audio better, but like 5% volume. Fix sounds great. Better. You're very quiet. Well, we can't fix it for all. We're just gonna have to like jump in and then yeah, if you do see any more audio issues out there, we can check with our two here, our gentlemen here, and as they're talking, if something happens, we'll go from there. Well, it was so funny as we. By the way, it's you get this whole chat and like everyone's like, it's good, and there's always one person that's like, no, it's not good, and I was talking to Brian at the beginning, and I was like, yeah, this would be funny if there's some volume issues and he's like, don't worry, we run into these all the time. So Innkeeper on us told me it sounds perfect. So we're going with that. We're going with it sounds better, and we'll figure out this thing later. I don't want to waste both of your time and get too stuck on audio issues. But Andy, it's awesome to have you here. You're the VFX supervisor for the Wheel of Time TV show. Brian, it's awesome to see you here too.
Thank you.
Brian shows you're the VFX producer. And maybe just to kick us off and just to kind of reset what we're doing here, maybe explain to everybody, and Andy, maybe you can kick us off of like VFX supervisor, like what do you do, and what does Brian do? And Brian can kind of speak to that too.
I mean, for me, VFX
yeah. Why don't you start
supervisor,
with you?
Yeah, the main thing for me is, for majority of shows now, you have digital elements that put into your shots after the footage has been captured, and for me, that's what we do in visual effects. We add all of those things digitally that weren't really there at the time when they were shot. Usually that's done in post-production, though obviously recently we had things like virtual production shooting against big LED screens, but still predominantly it's all about adding things in post-production. And
like, what is obviously we think that we know everything that's added in post-production. Is there something that has struck you that people haven't called out as like an effect from the first half of the season, or where you're like, no, that's something we added, but you would never know? Or at least no one's pointed it out.
I don't know, but I'd say there's quite a few. I don't think we're calling out the cinematography I've seen in the social media posts, and I think the majority of those are usually full CG shots. So okay. I kind of sit there smugly enjoying those comments. And then there are some where we do, we have got the footage that David Luther shot is the DOP for something like episode 4, and then we do a large kind of environment extension in the background. But I think scattered throughout the shows, tons of invisible VFX work. One that definitely springs to mind, I think, is the close-up of the axe in 301. When you first start to see the axe move, that was a full CG axe, and I thought it was really, really well done by one of the vendors we use, Outpost VFX. That was like seamless work, which is my favorite work when no one can tell the difference. That's awesome. That was really well done, and there's a lot more to come.
I know that question's going to come up from fans. Something we'll talk about. Obviously, we have 4 more episodes to go, and I imagine you're both kind of looking forward to reactions and kind of what people experience in those episodes. And but we'll get there. We have so much to cover before that time. Brian, why don't you introduce yourself to everyone here that's watching, and maybe speak to what you do as part of the show and part of the team.
Yeah, Brian, I'm the VFX producer. So we're both Andy and I, and we're on from prep through post, meaning from the beginning of the, once they start writing, or once they've completed writing, all the way through the very finishing ends. So when we typically go through the material that's written, and oftentimes it's written very large, and we go through and we try to figure out what stuff would involve us, as well as and putting a cost. My part is putting a cost to what those things are that involve us. Andy comes up with the creative. Andy comes up with the creative of how we might accomplish some of those things, and then we sit there and we collaborate, go back and forth on what the best methodologies are, and ultimately he comes up with the best methodology for that. And then we go into pre-production. So we work with all the other departments, whether it's set design, costumes, hair and makeup, even, and every other department out there. Special effects, anything that you can think of, we interact with all of them just to make sure that we're not either stepping on each other's toes, making sure that we're doing what's most effective and cost effective, and trying to get as much done, practically as possible. And then then we go through post. I manage our teams of people, the interactions between studios and our teams, and overall budget. So mine is definitely more the producer role versus the creative role. But Andy's really good at asking about our feedback. When we're doing our own reviews and things like that. And I've been around for like my 30th year this year, so I've been through a lot of productions. But he's really good at taking all of our feedback and incorporating it into his designs and shot work.
So Brian, would you say, I know a lot of fans have asked me this, or like I said, what do you want me to ask? And they threw out this question. Considering what we've seen from the first 4 episodes, was there any effects budget left for the following 4 episodes coming up? Like,
that was a big discussion topic from the very start, right? Budgetarily, you have to kind of figure out like your beginning, your arc, and your ending, and that's a constant negotiation with the creatives all the way through at every stage, as far as what money's left. No, there was a lot of money spent in those the first 4 episodes, mainly the first one and the 4th one.
Yeah, I mean, that seems. It seems for us, right? Like you're looking at it, and you're just like, these are. Like you're seeing things beyond, the conversations people are having and kind of just their environment. You're seeing much larger environments and much more science fiction environments. And so, yeah, money well spent.
I think Andy can speak to that, but the intention of season 3, even beyond season 2 and season 1, was to create scope, right? So there's a like Andy was trying to speak about earlier. There's a lot of invisible effects to make the world bigger, so that you guys can, for the fans to be more engaged.
Kevin threw out this note, and I agree. He said, I think you all deserve so much more credit for what it's worth, but I hope WOT fans have made sure your amazing work is so incredibly appreciated. And Andy, I know you've started interacting or kind of been posting on social media, talking about the process, sharing what you can. What's been your interactions so far with the Wheel of Time? Like you're speaking about weaves and things you've kind of researched. You posted something today on social media talking about the look of Ruidian. How did you get into the Wheel of Time? And how much of the text are you familiar with?
That's all just come about from me joining the show, literally from the first phone call I had, which was way back in September 2021. When I was going to come onto the show for season 2, and some creative changes were made in terms of the VFX team, and so Brian and I joined. And for me, if I'm going to join a project, you really need to submerge yourself in it and get to know it really well. So I think I don't even think I started with the books. I jumped straight online and looking at actually people like you guys, the Dusty Wheel, some of the other content creators as well, just kind of getting a background information as quick as I could about everything before I started entering the conversations about Rafe. And at the time I was shooting in Germany and making trips between Hamburg and Berlin regularly. And I purchased obviously The Eye of the World as an audio book, and I think I nearly crashed the car when I set play, and it came with like 32 hours of audio, which caught me slightly off guard. And they don't seem to have got any smaller after that, I think. So yeah, I think it's basically try to soak up all this information as quickly as you can. Obviously, you had a massive following as well, and I think the passion of the fan base is part of the reason I think I'm obviously speaking to you here. It's not kind of something I'd usually do, but I think the fandom is particularly unique for Wheel of Time. So engaged. I think Rafe calls it the most loyal, statistically the most loyal fan base.
Statistically the best.
Around. Yeah. So I think, it's just that, giving respect to the fandom as well, because it means so much. I think, especially from, Rafe has certain things he has to try and fit into the show and know what to leave out as well. It's, a massive series to try and condense into a TV show. Yeah. But I'd say it's a little bit more onus on me to match to the books, because I think, there's a lot of things there people think about and they visualize, Ruidian and channeling and things like this. So I kind of feel like I've got a bit more responsibility to stick to the books. As I say, kind of part of that sort of focus from me is because of the fandom and how popular everything is.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that has like stood out to us, and this has happened like progressively, and maybe this is just for you two, maybe this is just normal with productions like this, and when it comes to visual effects, you're seeing kind of season by season just iterations and improvements. And I think you called out just I can't remember if you called it like Weaves 3.0. I don't know. I thought you said wrote something about channeling itself. Have you both been part of this ever since season 1? And were you part of the evolution of these Weaves? And what are you most proud of when it comes to what you've done with the Weaves in season 3?
No, I mean, season 1, no, we weren't involved at all. And as I say, kind of partially through the shoot of season 2 is when we became involved. And I think point number 1 for me was improving the channeling. And I had a chat with Rafe about this quite early on, and then came to him with a load of imagery I shared with him. And I think I've obviously mentioned before, light painting is a really interesting long exposure photography technique. And there was some really interesting photographs I was finding with very thread-like qualities of these sort of torch lights, again, a very sort of glowing energy looking. For me, I looked at them, well, that's channeling. It leapt out at me. So I'm quite literal in the way I've interpreted it, because that's kind of how I imagine it. I think it looks really interesting like that, quite beautiful as well. It has its own challenges. It's not the most straightforward of magic systems. But I think, as you talk about the development with it, you're always wanting to improve it all the time. I'm never happy with it. We got to a really great place by the end of season 2, and I want to see how much we can push it on again, because it's so unique for the series that I think we just always need to try and make it the best we possibly can.
I'd like to say we never finish. We just run out of time.
I mean, that's a good way to think about it. I mean, I'm showing this up on screen. I mean, this, what a start. And just seeing some of those, like you were talking about, I'm just staring at these Weaves and thinking about it from a magic system. Those of us that are fans of the books, like that's how we got to know this material. The Weaves, the magic system is just like something like all of us love. And to see you continue to kind of iterate and just add to it and is a lot of fun. This is we kind of we geek out of that stuff. You've seen us on you've seen us on the Dusty Wheel like get a little bit particular about details, and so details like that are pretty meaningful. Brian, how much of that, like, I know you're talking like operations, logistics. Are you also throwing in are you kind of still a collaborative part of that process as far as giving thoughts and opinions on, changes like this? Or is it more like,
pretty hard to keep quiet if I have a thought about something? Oftentimes, but we do it all behind the scenes. If there's a thought and it works, we put it out there for Andy, my production supervisor, too. Julia, she has thoughts too. So we feed them to Andy, and then he ultimately decides on what the stuff looks like. But yes, I would say it's a collaborative process.
I mean, one of the fans, he sent over this, or Arani, they sent over this image, and I want to show this. It's a really interesting question. I'll show the image first, but you can kind of see what look like, almost sigils, in the Weaves themselves, as they're coming together. And Arani asked, we see this occur with like a single, whether or not it's fire or, water, air. Will we see multi-weave sigils in the future? Is that something that you plan on, Andy, or have we missed some that are out there?
No, I think that like the whole weave aspect, I kind of felt like we weren't tapping into enough. I think back to season 2, I remember with Lana when she's teaching Egwene and Nynaeve in episode 1, but she does kind of a wreath kind of weave. And I know in the books there's always either kind of a weave or it talks about flows. So I felt like we had 2 sort of ways of executing a 1-power event, either using flows or using a weave. And that was the weave aspect. I thought, God, it'd be really nice to introduce that more. So, I've looked at kind of classical weave things, plaits, Celtic knots, traditional kind of weaving in and out of threads and things like this. And that's what we try to introduce, and we have certain things like fireballs have a certain weave pattern to them, as do the shielding, as do air shields, and I think even, as I've spoken about before, I spoke to most of the cast who channel in season 2 about their channeling and trying to get their personality into it, which isn't as easy as I thought it might be. A lot of their personality comes from the way they perform in their channeling. But with some like Swan, for example, when she steps down to from her throne in episode 1 of season 3, her channeling actually kind of is a little bit sort of cross-haired, like a fishing net. Again, we'd love to try and hint back at characteristics of certain characters, and then or incorporate that into their channeling. Same with Moghedien. She's got a very kind of spider webbery design to her channeling. So it's as I say, channeling's not the easiest kind of magic system to do, but you can bring a ton of personality into it as if you can try hard enough. And I think just the whole weave concept of channeling, I think, was really important. We start to bring that in a lot more because I think the audience is looking for it.
Yeah, and then you brought up this one, and oh man, can we talk about this? Is a concept that you sent over, and it looks, and I don't know what part of the process this is from a concept standpoint. This looks almost like exactly. I mean, there's obviously differences. Love what you guys came up with, but yeah, this was like so creepy and interesting. what went on here? Still one of my favorite aspects of. Just what you've brought to the screen is Moghedien and Moghedien's channeling. At the end of season 2, and I was so excited, and I just wanted to like see even more of that. And so the fact that we got this so early on, and it was just maybe even creepier, and like from what we had seen like in season 2, like what were the conversations like when you talk about a Moghedien character, like and how much. Marif talked about this, like they would spend 1,000 hours. Well, I don't know if that was 1,000, but whatever, talking about like a dagger someone's going to use. Like, what do these conversations look like, among the team when it's like Moghedien, weaves should look like X? Like, how does that come to be?
I tell you, there's certain things that come into my head, or I get kind of visualize it pretty early on. Moghedien is definitely one of them, and that whole grey man conversion that's not many iterations we've done of that. We kind of hit that straight away. I've got 2 Italian concept artists on the show, and that was done by one of them, Simo. I'll put a link up to them on social media. They were great, and he's really great to work with. And so I kind of described what I wanted on something very ethereal and something kind of pulling away to what we actually called it the soul extraction effect. I think is what we called it in the end. So I just wanted something. Rafe is being a writer is great at telling me what he wants emotionally or for the audience to feel. That's usually how his briefing dynamics works with me. And so he wanted something that kind of felt horrific and scary. And so I really had this vision straight away that I had kind of to see this pulling and elastic kind of feel as the soul is yanked away from Yakim, I think is the character's name.
Yeah.
So yeah, it seemed to go down really, really well, which was great. It's always fun seeing an audience reaction to something like this.
I mean, Leia Costa, obviously, like they both are like acting the hell out of this scene, but also the effects that are added right here, like that's like that. Yeah, man, I love that one so much.
That's a good one. But
one of my favorites too.
Yeah, when you go to the next shot, you actually see the silhouette of his soul.
Oh yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Hold on a second. Was it right after here? I'll just like play it through here. Yeah, maybe speak to that.
You'll see right there.
Oh, right there. Yeah. I actually haven't focused on the soul right there, so that's so cool to. Brian, go for it.
That's quite an important aspect for Rafe to see that happening. And when I talk about, especially with the channeling, get to play off the performances of the cast. Leia's really great at it. I think she's already mentioned she's based her character off her. I think the time was like her 4-year-old daughter, and so she's really playful with it, and it's just great fun. So it gives us tons to play with. But the soul extraction, that was definitely something that popped into my head straight away when we discussed it with Rafe and what the purpose of it was.
The fact that it ended that way, with her fingers in his mouth, that's a great scene. I mean,
I've been told that she actually didn't warn the guy playing Jetson that she was going to stick her fingers into his mouth, and fair play to him, he just went for it, and it was really effective.
Oh, that's so freaking good. Brian, I think you were about to mention, like, that's obviously that's one of my favorites. Do you have a favorite kind of effect so far, or favorite weave, if not, or just like something that's been added or tweaked for this season?
I think honestly that soul extraction was one of the fun things to do. I like all the one-off things that you'll see throughout the season, and not necessarily the channeling, but like the channeling was super important to us, and it's actually I always talk about the channeling as it's the other character in the show, um, because it's so big. Yeah, but yeah, the soul extraction was one of my favorites this season.
I've left this poll up there. About 500 people have voted on this since yesterday. And thank you all for being here. And I'm glad we figured out those audio issues. I asked them the favorite Wheel of Time season 3, VFX so far. They chose Ruidian out of Age of Legends, episode 1 cold open, upgrades to things. Ruidian was just something so impactful, and I'm sure you saw this on how people are talking about and have been talking about it ever since last Thursday. People are just affected by it. I mean, we've shared, like you said, some of the things we like that were clearly all done in like post, and I want to jump into a couple of those, but I would be remiss if there's any of you watching out here that did not see this in the first week. Andy posted this to social media and said, pondering skipping season 3, episode 1. Think again, knowing how Wheel of Time fandom pauses, explores, scrutinizes shots. We in VFX have hidden a gray man in the background of an earlier shot in the episode, watching our heroes. Let's see how good you lot really are. And then posted this funny animation, of course. I threw back that it's on, right? And I made a declaration that, honestly, a couple of hours into the live stream, I felt like I should have given us more time. And the funniest part about this is during the live stream, this is 1:55. This would have been during the first episode. Andy is still trolling us with clock is ticking. Brian, were you aware of these things? Were you watching Andy kind of play? Was he sharing that he was going to come and
well, I knew he would be on and doing it again. That for me, that was like 3:00 in the morning.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
I can like Moghedien. I can be a little bit mischievous, shall we say?
I can be like Moghedien, mischievous. It's this. Yeah. Now, if you were not aware, that was found by Toby. Toby, if you're out there, found it at like 7:30 Eastern, and I wrote while we were live. And had Andy confirm that we had found the gray man. So I want to remind you all, I grabbed this so we had it here. I want to remind you all that we did find the gray man. And when I say we, I mean Toby. So nice job, Toby. There's this shot of Matt and Nynaeve here, if y'all remember the shot. And if you have a large enough TV and you zoom in, there it was. I put together one you can see a little bit better over here. I zoomed in. Let's see. Oh man, it was Andy. It was Andy the entire time. Andy the gray man right there. You can't tell, but that is Andy right behind the window pane there. Nice job, Andy. No, that was a lot of fun. I mean, fans, the fans that I connect with most often, they love that kind of stuff. Like I said, like to say, we're minutia geeks. You watched us stare at window panes, so we really appreciated that your team threw it behind a window. Like the fact that you connected the window pane was awesome.
I kind of felt like I was almost goading you by doing that. You've looked at more windows than I think an architect has on this show.
It was, oh man, the stuff we tried to connect the dots between window panes was amazing. So we really appreciated that. I did see this question come in. Are there other gray men? Have we found them all? Have you are there other things like this that fans should expect? Just like things that have been kind of dropped, maybe hidden Easter eggs, like a gray man in a window. That I'm seeing Brian shake his head, and Andy is not as declarative here.
You just have to keep looking for him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that was a joke with Rafe in a lot of our reviews. He'd say, there's 4 grey men hidden in the shot. There's little details hidden there, here and there, which I'm not going to point out straight away. It's
good, yeah.
The fandom's great at picking this kind of stuff up, like the show wings that were below the Sharon last week. There's little details here and there, little nods to the book that I think people will probably notice. But I know you guys appreciate it.
We like to read and find out is a phrase that connects with our deep fandom with Robert Jordan. He used to answer fans all the time when they would ask something, trying to connect a theory, like read and find out. It became kind of a watch and find out. And now it sounds like we should be like zoom in and find out needs to be kind of a thing. So yeah, I agree with you. Don't just give stuff away to fans. Like, don't just answer questions. I'm always like, no, it's better if it's better to do stuff like you did, right? Like, this is fun. That was a fun thing to kind of add to the delight of what it is to be fans, for sure. Now, I want to respect. I'm going to end this poll here. Ruidian is something we want to talk about, and so we're definitely going to talk about Ruidian, everybody here. But I have to, because my soul is so connected to the metaphysics of the Wheel of Time. I have to jump to my favorite moments. So let's watch that. And yeah, I want to talk about how this came together. And also I'll throw I think you have to hear this moment. So let me turn the audio on for this scene. But spoilers, obviously, for episode 4, everyone. That is such a pivotal moment in the story itself, and to actually see it on screen was, yeah. I have so many friends in the Wheel of Time, and they just talk about this episode and just what you brought to screen in this moment is like one of the most impactful. Yeah, like Dana Liu just said, visuals, the sound together, unforgettable. Like the audio of the boar is haunting and creeping. Yeah, like the sound of VFX during the opening of the boar, Emmy worthy. You know, people loved the wobbling noise aspect of it. Yeah, like this is not a boring one bit. Yeah, exactly. The dark one. Like, maybe talk to us a little bit about the process of making this decision and coming together around this idea. Obviously, the Showroom is destroyed, but kind of imagining the visual or just like the experiential nature of the boar and what Rand, in this case, sees.
Yeah, and so in most cases, we start this stuff looking at the books. As we chatted about just before we came on air, I just double checked that this afternoon to make sure it was like interpreting it right. There's not really that much written too much about it. And I think kind of like a paragraph or two. So I felt like there's a lot of emphasis on us, and we pulled whatever we could from that extract in the book. But when talking to Rafe about it, he definitely wanted something that stood out. Now this is during a moment of the process for us in post-production where we're kind of full on, so I had to be very sort of laser focused on our decision making. And the Sharon was one thing. There's obviously a lot of comments come up about the Death Star where you make something big, round and circular. Those comments come up. There's literally one thing I did not look at when we would come up for the design of that and creating that with Below FX, who were the vendors for it. I think I looked at everything but that. There was I think it used to be called the Ericsson globe in Stockholm, Sweden. It's kind of influences it, and there's the orb from Burning Man, the kind of I think brutalist isolation chambers as well. All these kinds of different things I looked at. Talking about the books, I thought, well, it's supposed to be big. It's big, round, laboratory. Yeah. So I didn't want to shy away from it because I think that's what everyone wanted to see, and I kind of wanted to see it myself.
Yeah.
And then the other big part was the revealing of the Dark One. This cracking in the sky. That I think in the books it's more described as, I think, black smoke spreading everywhere, and I felt like we could do something that was going to be a little bit more visually interesting there. So this kind of shattering effect that sort of image popped into my head quite quickly. And I'd already looked at an artist called Simon Berger, who is a glass artist, does lots of portraits by shattering glass, which was something I was looking at for the Rand mirror sequence in episode 1. And there was a certain look to the way, the glass fractures. I thought, oh god, that'd be a really cool way for the Dark One to reveal itself. And then Rafe wanted basically just a very sort of smallish hole where we got to see the Dark One coming through. And we wanted the cracking to kind of stop, so it didn't feel like it was going to take over the whole world. But there's a lot of conversation like that. I think probably the biggest conversation was around the look of the Dark One itself. And so for Rafe, we always wanted this. We spoke about having this bright horizon for the Dark One, because I think when I'm interpreting it, is he's not just a kind of, the Dark One's not just a bad guy, he's there for balance. And so Rafe liked this idea of light and dark back there. So we wanted something kind of airy, but I think the whole thing about this sequence just shows what a team sport filmmaking is, because what we've done visually and then combined with what the sound team did, like, really brings it to life and takes it to another level massively, because it's quite eerie and sort of alien. The sounds that come out as the Dark One kind of flickers away. I think that was like, that really helps it.
What is that? I mean, and people are asking this, and they brought up the sound aspect of this. When it comes to the sound design, the visual design of a moment like that, like completely different teams, all the same team. Like Brian is like, you get the vision. Are you going out?
Yeah, we have. They're separate teams, but it's all collaborative. Like, we're all in the same places. We definitely have meetings. We set up meetings to talk with sound. We try to get sound delivery, like images delivered to sound early and often. Even when we're at early rudimentary stages of things. So as they're designing their part, they can have a visual from our part. So they can see concepts that are cut into their timelines or into the reels. They can get early iterations of things that we have. So just to make their part, give them as much as they can so that they can do their part as
And does that come up to Andy? Are you getting all that kind of back, and then you like? There's another team kind of approving, or is the sound kind of like Rafe saying, I want this, and you're kind of bringing it and saying, I think this is the one, let's go with it? Or like, is there a separate kind of person over the sound aspects of effects, or are you over all of those pieces?
No, we have it's kind of Matt Skeldon, who oversees a lot of the sound effects for us on the show. That's why as Brian said, we constantly feed them with updates as the work iterates through different stages, so that they can then work on the sounds themselves. And we don't really know some of the time what they're going to be working on. I think for the appearance of the Dark One, I don't think I actually saw that until we watched a mix review. We're kind of watching all the grade and the sound and the visual effects all together. And it kind of stood out to me then that it felt very, very different. So no, we're mainly just focused about the visual aspect. And in terms of the cracking, again, that's another idea that came into my mind fairly early on. And we just iterated from there, and it was actually kind of a much larger event to begin with. And then Rafe wanted to kind of bring it down to be something a bit more smaller and focused. And the kind of the way it's gone down, I think, as I've messaged you, has really surprised me in a way. I didn't realize how much it mattered to everyone. So I'm really pleased that it got a positive response from it.
It's one of the sequences, I think, producer-wise, that I think we would have loved to have a little bit more time on.
Yeah, I mean, when you say that, just always want that, is it just
we always do, but I mean, it's one of those things that we do. If we had more time on it, I think it could have been even better. But I think it looks pretty good. I'm glad you guys really like it.
Yeah, I mean, this is. I mean, some people have said this, and I agree. Like, something people have waited 30+ years to see on screen, and I don't think I don't think my mind really had a concept of it, like not a firm concept of it. And so this is basically kind of replaced that idea, right? Like, and I like this, for example, we were talking about like influences. I like this comment from Ryan, like the detail in it kind of screams like dark matter, thread between galaxies. There's the taint aspect of it, for those of us that are book readers, or the corruption on the one power. There's that idea. There's the true power concept for the Dark One. That's what's being bored into. And so I think all those like melded really together, right? And so I think it was like understandable for those of us that maybe knew a little bit more about what was going on, but also like frightening and horrific for people that are watching of like, what is this exactly? I remember fans were in chat like, okay, explain to me exactly what just went down, because I don't know what that exactly was, but it seems bad. Like, it seems like that should not have happened. And, and that is, that's a lot of fun. That's a lot of fun to kind of see that. So yes, Brian, to your point, I wish you would have had, all the time for every one of these shots.
And that's one of the hardest things for us as a team is obviously the fans, you want to see this stuff earlier and sooner, which means we have to do it quicker and better. And that's hard to do sometimes.
I like this comment from Kevin. Wait, Matt only brought these guys on because they effectively released the Dark One on our screens. They are Lanfear. There you go. you are the instantiation.
With Lanfear, I like to consider myself the creator as well, because we do make the channeling. So like a
you want
two
like
entities
both.
in one.
Yeah. That is very Lanfear. Oops, sorry, there's no audio there. I want to show this. And then I promise we're going to go right to Ruidian. Everyone's like, yeah, now he's going to do it. He's going to do what? By the way, when I told everyone we were about to watch a sequence, they all believed we were going to watch a sequence having to do with Lanfear, which I'm a little bit offended.
They're not the only ones. I thought you were going to as well.
I see. I have a rapport. I mean, there's something specific about my focuses in the Wheel of Time. This aspect, and I can't remember how long, we'll just watch this a little bit. You actually do kind of show a little bit of like, a little bit of the research that's going on, right? And so you see behind them here shortly, some threads of the one power, kind of as though it's like within, I don't know how you'd say it. It's kind of, or maybe it's right before this. Now I'm like trying to remember. Hold on.
It's a little bit before that. Yeah, it's probably on in the sequence. Yeah. Now
I'm like a little bit more of a Lanfear. So I'll show it here shortly. Was that kind of teased just to kind of be like, yes, there's one power stuff going on, or did you conceive of what that looks like? We just never see it from a visual perspective of what's going on behind them here. Is there more to this shot, I guess, than you're seeing on the screen?
There is more to that shot, but we wanted to tease it a little bit that there's these experiments going on with the one power in the background. You're never quite sure what they're doing with it. I'd love the fact to keep it a little bit mysterious, especially when it comes to this particular moment in the story and what it means for the whole kind of story overall for Wheel of Time. So keeping it in the mystery, I think, was the best bit. And she kind of Myron kind of touches on it when she's talking about the experience of doing. So I didn't want to be kind of obvious with it, but I think just showing this little mysterious something happening in the background, I think, was perfect for the kind of mood we were trying to set for that specific moment.
Yeah, I mean, and then someday you can just release the rest of that, and that'd be cool. I mean,
if there was more money, sure.
No, I mean, again, one of the most pivotal moments in the story itself. So it's really cool. Again, teasing, showing us kind of, people can go back and they can read the books and understand a little bit more about what's happening there. But I think that was enough to kind of, give us an idea of like what you're showing us and still kind of make it interesting and compelling. I did have a couple questions that come from fans, and then we'll again just jump over to Ruidian. What's the kind of most fun you've had so far with on the VFX side for you, Brian? I know you're, again, logistics and everything. You're kind of focused on the money and the and the planning. But what fun do you get to have, and what was it as part of season 3?
For me specifically, I think we had a lot of fun on the scouts, picking out all these locations and being in these cool remote places where you get to see. And try to visualize how these things were going to come alive. So for me, my part, I really liked being on those scouts. That was good. For you,
Andy, is it it's all fun? But was there kind of like something really fun?
Yeah, it's all fun. Yeah, I'd say actually it's always, I'd say, those very early stages when you know what's been shot and you start to see the initial edit being put together, and that's where your mind starts to work about what you could do with things. I think especially in filmmaking, I tend to say a film gets made 3 times. So the script is kind of the first time it's made. Then in the shoot, things can change. You make it again, and then the edit can change again. And so it's when you get to that final stage of the edit, that's when it really, you really know what you're going to be dealing with. And I think it's when you've got the whole thought process about what you could do, that's the most creative part for me, and therefore the most fun.
That makes sense. And by the way, I'm getting so many requests for this. I will ask you both this question. We're walking into Rand and Moraine are walking to Ruidian, and fans would love to know how this, how this moment came to be. So they're obviously walking in, and then we have this moment. And us, right? Like immediately I saw fans, as we were talking about this the first time we saw it, they were like, "Hey, was the sound? Was it backwards? Was it running backwards? Was the logo running backwards?" I see you, Brian. Like, was this? Whose idea was this? How did this come to be? It was such a really fun like Easter egg to kind of notice, considering what the episode's about. And so yeah, I think fans are just really curious of how the backwards intro came to be.
I don't know.
I actually think that might have been a Rafe idea. I think Rafe or that and Chris Barwell, who's the editor for the episode and co-producer on the show, because I remember them having a conversation when we were watching one of the mix reviews of it, saying, "Oh, we've played the music backwards and done the logo backwards." So it might have come from Rafe.
Okay.
I'm not too sure on that, but it was a little conversation that was hanging secret on the side, I think, and they implemented it. But I think it got picked up on really quickly, actually.
It was. I think a couple of people saw it. I remember in chat right afterwards, they were like, "Hey, go back." I did not notice it at the time, and I was like, "Oh, that was really cool." They're walking into Ruidian right here, and this is the piece. And I know we have to let you guys go soon, so it'd be a shame if I didn't kind of talk through or ask you about this. We see these statues. We see the scale of what's happening here and where they're going, where they're entering. Are there choices behind in your mind, like what the statue was or what we're seeing, what these buildings are, and it's just kind of like hidden, and there's kind of, there's decisions you made about who that's supposed to be and reflecting, and it's things we can come back and theorize about later. Like the scale and what we see in Ruidian, like how did that come together and to bring us the visuals that we're seeing right now?
In terms of the scale, I mean, that is a big, I don't think I was the only one on the show who wanted to do this, but season 3, we definitely wanted to open up the world, make it feel bigger, larger, more epic, because this is a big book series. It's got a ton of scope. There's massive world building going on. So you need that size and scope to give it that kind of awe and essentially allow the kind of viewers' eyes to breathe and explore the space. So, I think it was definitely something that Kieran Donnelly brought up when speaking about episode 1 regarding, making the White Tower feel bigger. So, we had that entrance hall shot. We just got the Aes Sedai walking across again.
From the Age of Legends, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's what we all thought. That was we just wanted to set that straight away about opening the world up, make it feel big, because just takes it to the show to another level when we do that. And then when we got to Ruidian, that was another great chance. I mean, a lot of that stuff, Isle Waste was shot in South Africa, and it's such these big, wide vistas. It was a kind of place where you could point the camera in any direction and not get get a good shot. It sounds like I'm playing down the cinematography. I'm not. They got some fantastic shots, but it was just such a great environment to work with. And because of that, it gave us something great to work on top of. And when they get inside to Ruidian itself, that was shot on a soundstage in Prague at Jordan Studios, where they just filled it with fog and had been lit a certain way by David Luther, the DP, to give this kind of very diffuse look to it. The actual shot there, obviously looking up at the statues, the design of that's done by production designer Andre. And then I think when I saw the edit and we worked on it a little bit, I felt like, oh, I'd really love to see Ruidian up close to give it the size of sense and scale. And so I came up with the idea of that shot where you've got them very small in shot down the bottom, and we get that big, large entrance shot of with the two statues, the wall, and then you get the monumental buildings popping up over the top of the wall itself. I just thought it was really important to introduce something like that, just as I said, to give it that size, that scope.
Yeah, when we shot those statues, it was just the base of the statue, and Andy built everything on top.
Yeah, I mean, is there like a whole schematic that you built? Like, is there a city? Is Ruidian somewhere built, and we just walked through, or we only see a little portion of it? Like, does that? I'm seeing Brian shake his head. Yes.
Yeah, in the digital world, it is built. I mean, in terms of on set, they built the bottom plinths and just the feet of the statues, and then a section of the front wall. You know, for us, it's great having, especially for the cast as well. It's great to have real things to sort of play off, and like for us to work with in shot and extend is so helpful. So it's that practicality, and that is really important for us in camera, for us to then expand off of.
Well, yeah, we do have an asset of the city built.
Yeah, I was. You sent me. I'm going to share that Ruidian concept, and how much this kind of played into, like, with these early concepts. Is this kind of what we would see on that, in the city itself? I mean, obviously we're seeing some of that kind of
on a clear day in Ruidian. Yeah, that's the type of thing we'd see. This is the sort of design we went for, influenced by a brutalist architecture again, with a bit of curvature, a little bit of Art Deco as well. And there's a lot of similarity here to the buildings as to what you see in Paradisen in the Rand's flashback before this, with Roderick, I think it is, leaves of the Sakanan. So we wanted to carry across a kind of similarity in the building designs that's replicated in Ruidian itself. And this is a design that Rafe really liked. So yeah, this is the look we went for. But they felt great. I really liked them. They felt kind of unique for the show. Yeah, I was really happy with them. Yeah,
again, just really fun to kind of see that brought to life. It's one of the pieces you can tell people love so much, this particular episode, that place. It's pretty meaningful for the story also. People talk about the columns, the tree, the rings are just, the rings themselves. What a cool effect that, yeah. I mean, I agree with you so much, Brian, on that one. The rings themselves are just amazing. The fact that you brought the columns to life. I mean, watching him walk through that, that looks all kind of practical. What's like when we think of the columns themselves, obviously, like Yosha is just on a soundstage, just kind of like imagining the columns are there, or they're actually like kind of set up some columns and superimpose like over it in post. Like, how did the column scene work for Yosha as he was walking back through his ancestors?
We did actually have practical glass columns on set. I think, I'm trying to remember off the top of my head, I think it was about 10 of them, something like this, but they only built up to a certain height, and then we go and digitally extend off the top of it, and the same for going left, right, and filling out towards the back. Because Rafe always wanted the glass column forest to feel kind of endless. You didn't know where it sort of ended. So it was always important that it disappeared out of frame. But no, Rafe had Yosha had something that you could practically work off of. And again, just having those practical things in camera just really helps us. We're creating something that feels very realistic, and therefore hopefully for a viewer, they don't think about it and they just get lost in the story.
I think we do. I mean, that fog really helps, right? And that's so, like, the blue light and the way you carried that through from the books. Like, immediately when I saw some of the trailer shots, I was like, okay, cool. I feel like we're going to get this. Kritter, hey, welcome.
Hi, thank you.
Yeah. With that note, and everyone out there is like, wait a second, if Kritter's here, that means the time for Andy and Brian must be coming to an end. I do want to ask you this last question, and we'll take a moment and let you move on with your day. We really appreciate the time you put in. And this one came from a friend of mine, and just asked, like, because Andy, you have posted on social media pieces of art that inspired the fog over Ruidian. Are there other kind of sources of inspiration you've drawn upon for season 3 that you haven't kind of mentioned at this point, as part of your creative design for when you're putting together a scene?
Oh, unfortunately, I can't because I give away way too many.
He has a full mural pages
Yeah.
with sections of inspiration that he brings in across the room for all these different pieces. It's really impressive.
So what you're saying is at the end, you'll take a nice screenshot of that, or you'll take and post it later.
Yeah, exactly. It's usually kind of art, science, and nature is usually the biggest sort of references I grab. I'm a big reference guy because I love to have stuff to play off of. Yeah, I think I'll probably, as we go along, I'll probably post some more up on social media. But yeah, there's definitely quite a few left that I can't mention because it's going to give way too much away.
Well, good. No, we look forward to it. We really appreciate you again sharing those things. And yeah, both of you, thank you very much for taking the time out. This engagement is what we love, right? Just as fans of Wheel of Time, our community just loves getting to know kind of like what was behind the scenes, what's going into bringing to life, a series that's meant so much to us throughout our entire lives. So
can I just say, beautiful work.
Go ahead, Critter.
Beautiful work. Thank you for everything you do. Episode 4 was gorgeous, stunning, insane. So thank you so much.
I mean, I just wanted to come on so you stop talking about Sharon Gillam and her costumes for once.
We won't stop talking about her, but we'll continue talking about you.
Yeah, I'm seeing lots of love here. Thank you, Taishar. Give them all the awards. This has been best hour yet. So until Sharon comes on, I think this is be everyone's favorite episode.
But also, I just want to say thanks to you guys too, and all the fans. Thanks for looking at all those details too. Right? It's a lot of fun for us too, as people to make these things, to engage and to watch the interest. So it's a lot of fun, and we do it really for you guys. So it's we appreciate it.
Well, we're looking forward to finding any of the Easter eggs you've hidden. We're looking forward to seeing more about the inspirations that have come together for this. And looking forward to seeing more of the episodes, which is going to start here in a little bit. So thank you both, everyone that's watching. We obviously, this conversation could go on for hours and hours. We would be right back. I just want to say goodbye to these wonderful people. And then Critter and I will be back to kind of continue the discussion about episode 5 coming up. So 1 second, everybody.
If you want news and rumors that appeal, welcome to the Dusty Wheel.
Hey, welcome back to the Dusty Wheel.
If you want news and rumors.
Hey, welcome back, everybody. And Critter, thank you very much for being with us. If you are watching still with us, if you're still with us, that was just Andy Scrase and Brian Shows. They're on the VFX team for the Wheel of Time. And it was a lot of fun to chat with them. Like the time just flies by. Like I'm sitting here going like, what else can we talk about? Like what's interesting like, to hear them. And I'm like, oh my gosh, it's coming up to the hour and we have 0 time left. So that was a lot of fun. I hope you go back and watch it. And I'm so glad for all of you watching out there, we've fixed the audio issue. What a pain. I will tell you, I did accidentally clicked yes on update Streamlabs right before the show. And then it was like, are you kidding me? Like an audio issue? Like that was just, that was so annoying, but it got fixed. Let me remind you all, we are back. Before you go, if you're not going to stick around, I don't know why you wouldn't stick around. We're going to be talking about the Wheel of Time with Critter here, so I hope you're sticking around. But if for some reason you're like, no, I'm going to go sleep because I'm going to be back tonight, Matt, I understand. We are doing the live watch and after show. Please go if our mods can throw the link in chat for those of you that are watching. Or you just come on YouTube and look up the Dusty Wheel. We are going to be live at 2 a.m. Eastern because we're insane, and that's just what we like to do. And we're going to be getting ready for the drop of episode 5 here. and that drops at 3 a.m. Eastern. If you haven't been with us for live watch, you should try it. We only have 4 more this season. That's it. 4 more Thursday mornings of your life that you get to kind of hang out with fans and just be live with us, experiencing the premiere of the show for the first time. If you ask in chat, it's a lot of fun. It's a blast to just be there and to chat about it afterwards. And yeah, and for those of you that can't, don't worry, because there is a show that Thursday night. That's right, we do part 2 of that same. We come back and we don't do a full rewatch of the show, but we do, we'll be back doing an after show Thursday night too at 8 p.m. Eastern. So if make them both. Yeah, I like that. Rain said, don't say that. I'm saying it right now that there's only 4 more left. So you just take it really seriously and you show up because they're fun to do. Like, let's just geek out for as much of this season as we have left. So, yeah. Critter, how you feeling about that? You said, life's busy. You're jumping back in, doing some live streaming,
doing some Wheel and Chill Monday nights. We're reacting to the episodes as well after they come out. And there's only 4 left, which is so sad. Content on TikTok still. Whenever the season's coming out, you get it. It's so exciting and so much fun to like fully dive in, and it's been a blast so far, and I'm sure the rest of it's going to be a blast too.
I finally put my profile thing on TikTok. Does that mean I know what I'm doing? No. Does that mean I'll actually get to posting something? The amount of times in the Wheel of Time that I've been like, I'm totally going to post this thing and don't post it there's a lot of instances like that. Yes, my hope is to figure it out. TikTok, I might have a question for you someday. But
bring it on.
So how do you post there? No, but I noticed it's just a thriving community of Wheel of Time fans over there. I was jumping on some of yours and others in the TikTok community, and it just looks like people are just having fun.
They are.
Like, we do the total opposite of that, like 12-hour live streams.
It's so
and
fast.
Then you guys are doing like a minute, or sometimes I don't know how long you can go on content there, but like shorter content, and so it's like a really funny, because I'm like, can I be that concise?
It's perfect for my attention span, honestly. But it is interesting. And I in college I studied some journalism, right? And so I'm translating that into my TikTok stuff, because they don't want you to be long-winded over there. They want you to just get to the point, and that's what I do.
It's interesting because I was watching it going like, oh, this is really good. If I need to do some catch up on some of these topics,
there you go.
I can do a little, remind myself how this works or what the details are. And every once in a while I hear something and be like, I'm not going to try to correct that. not of yours. They're just like, I'll watch something and they'll be like, yeah, that's cool. That's like,
good for them.
It's like this really small minutia thing that I'm like, man. Will I ever be able to make a video? I was going to try to make a short one about Land Fear. It's so hard. It's so hard to do.
You'll get there. Shout out, by the way, to Dread Pirate Dad over on TikTok. Me and him kind of we keep making content that's on the same topic. Like after episode 4, it was like, what is that Death Star in the sky? All this other stuff. And it's because he's also a huge Wheel of Time fan he has got a lot of followers. And so we get a lot of show only people being like, does Nynaeve have a channel again?
Yeah.
So then you're like, okay, well, let's talk about it. So it's really fun.
Absolutely. I hope that our mods will throw a link up. What's the best place for people to kind of follow you? Just everywhere? Are you most
I'm
often...
all over the place. Yeah. So if you want to watch my live streams, I'm on YouTube, and we do the Wheel and Chill show on Monday nights. I also post reactions to the episodes, and I try to do reviews of pre-recorded content too. But like you, I'm I'm going to do this thing. And then sometimes I just don't do it. TikTok is where I post the most often, but I cross post to Instagram. So if you're not on TikTok for whatever reason, and you want to see my content, you could also go on Instagram, and I post YouTube shorts too. So, I'm all over the place. So it's a good time.
definitely do follow Critter, and Critter does a show. Wheel and Chill is on Monday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern, right?
7:30 p.m. Central.
Oh, sorry.
So very close. It's close. It's you guys was 30 minutes off. Yeah.
Central. Okay, I was close enough there. If you show up a half an hour early, just hang out and chat over there.
That. We try to have show only people on for the first half, because we like getting the perspective of people who have no idea what's going on. It just, it's a really fun thing to be like, ooh, watch and find out, So we have a good time over there.
Yeah, no, I jumped in on Monday and I was like, oh man, I love the crowd. the crowd that gets together when the season comes out, like the crowd that's here, just the fans getting kind of like hyped and just really wanting to kind of just consume all moments. And that's what I was trying to say was, yeah, like there's 4 more episodes, right? And it's like, so people are just like jamming in as much as they can, right? Like jump and follow all the live streams that are going on. I know Lauren is always,
oh my gosh,
making like ridiculous deep dive content.
Impeccable content.
Watt Up is always like chucking out videos like of like all the latest things that are happening. You have The Way of the Leaf, right? You have Twatcast. Like I'm trying to think of who else is running live streams. Malkier Talks.
Yes,
yes. You have all these kind of live streams going on, and I'd love seeing all the fandom just kind of going and supporting and being part of it, because this is what a fun freaking season, right? I'm excited to hear your thoughts on it. Like, by the way, Light Blinded Fool said Ruidian mapped out digitally in Clear Day and Ruidian as Moghedien confirmed. That's a good question. Let me end this poll. 435 of you voted. Do you like how they realized the bore? 72% of you said 10 no notes. 25% of you said or 8 to 9. So that means 97% of you were in the 8 or above. So yeah, they've among the hardcore fan freaks that are hanging out on a Wednesday night chatting with us. That is one of them. Let me ask this: do you think we will see Asmodean this season?
Ooh, this season.
Whether or not we recognize him, yes or no? What's your answer to that, Critter? Do you think whether or not we recognize him that we'll see Asmodean this season?
I'm gonna say yes. I don't know that it's gonna be. I don't know that we're gonna find out that it's him this season. I think that's what I'll say. We're not gonna get a big Asmodean confrontation yet. That's my thought.
Okay. Yeah, I feel like I'm hoping they do some of this because I don't think you have enough time for all the Forsaken doing all the things, and they've already introduced Robin and
they dropped some mail
right?
on us, and I was like, what?
So you're like,
there he is.
You have him, and then obviously Lanfear's there in Moghedien, and it's like, how do you make more time for more Forsaken in an 8-episode situation? So I am hoping that we're gonna get like, in disguise kind of stuff, like from the Shadow Rising.
We find out later,
right?
And it's like,
you find out later. I think that's the right way to do it. Instead of trying to just give them all to us in one season and give them time on the screen, I don't think you can do it. So I like the idea that they might be setting up characters using mask and mirrors, doing so, basically where they can bring in the actor later that's going to play that role, but we don't have to have them all.
Did you hear my theory? Have you heard my theory about who Asmodean might be?
Let me quickly throw this out there. Spoiler limitations right now through show through episode 4.
Okay.
Books through 5. Can your theory sit in episode
Absolutely.
through books 5? Okay, go for it.
It basically only involves the fact that Tom is coming back. I think he's going to be Mask of Mirrorsing to look like Tom.
You're among the Tom Moghedien camp.
I'm firmly in Tom Moghedien camp. Yes, absolutely. I think that would be so much fun.
I think it is. Again, I think they're going to have to do like they have been, right? Consolidating things down. Like you can't go to all the cities, you can't go to all the places they want to be, and you can't build in time to develop every single kind of relevant Forsaken the way they have, and have all these other characters you're trustworthy building up. So it wouldn't bother me at all. Tom Moghedien would be a fun. Bane Chad said, "I'm not okay with that."
Well, no, Tom is still Tom. Like he's Tom, but
okay. So you think so you're saying Tom,
Mirrorsing.
And you're getting Tom, but then you don't know that you're also not replacing Tom, just Tom Moghedien as in
Think like if you're familiar, think like Mad Eye Moody. Spoilers, like where somebody's like maybe has him captured somewhere, or he's like in a whole different city. Okay. And Asmodean's like passing.
So it's not replacing, not like that he's gone. Okay.
No.
I see. I like that. I like that. Did you? I know you weren't able to kind of watch any of that discussion with Andy and Brian. You said so. They had a lot of fun. If you didn't get a chance, you should go back and watch it. Like I said, there's like a 3-minute figuring out the audio thing right at the beginning, and then once we figured it out. Then we have a great conversation there, and really, really fun insights on to like how they would come up and were working on certain things like the boar. We talked about kind of how the boar, that whole scene came in, and Ruidian, which you saw right at the end. So yeah, a lot of fun. Now, you had a show-only guest on.
Mm-hmm.
What are some of the kind of show-only theories that you're hearing, from your guests or like others where you're not dispelling the notion from them, and it's just kind of like fun that maybe they're, off track a little bit, or maybe they're on track to what we know happens, at least in the first 5 books of the series.
Okay. Wow. All right. So I've gotten a
I put you
lot
on the
in the
spot there.
I've gotten several in the past. Okay, so we're doing no book spoilers, so I'll just say what they are, and I'm not
through 5.
Right,
through 5.
Right.
Yeah.
So I've gotten in the past, is Perrin actually going to turn into a wolf? Even though they said in the show that he's not going to, right?
Yeah.
Somebody else said Perrin's going to lead a wolf army in the last battle. Not going to say whether that's true or not, but that's what they said.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Our last week guest, Max, for this past week, said that he thinks that because it seems like Egwene's going to get involved in the world of dreams. We can only guess that she's going to have a confrontation with Lanfear, because Lanfear's big in the world of dreams.
Okay.
Which would be interesting because we've seen
Lanfear and Egwene have a confrontation this season, they mean? Okay.
Yeah, I think so. He said that they're teeing that up. Oh my gosh, what else? He caught on that he thinks that something's going to happen with Couladin. Like he's going to try to kill Rand in his sleep or something.
Okay.
Which is fun.
Couladin will try to murder Rand. I like that one.
Yeah. That was.
By the way, you have to come up with one more, because that's 4, and that gives us a cool poll to do here.
Okay.
So we have Wolf Army in the last battle. We have Lanfear v. Egwene and Tel'aran'rhiod. Couladin will try to murder Rand.
Yes. What else?
What else would you say is something that anything having to do with
somebody's? I can't really. I guess if this is like a favorites, but somebody asked if Fael was a vampire.
Fael is a vampire. Okay, that was
because there's a werewolf.
Yeah.
So
that's
like,
logical.
Is she a vampire? I was like, well, I guess we'll see.
Do you think we'll see the poll 5 minutes ago? About 250 of you vote on this. Do you think we'll see Asmodean this season? Whether or not we recognize him, 76% are in the Asmodean is going to be in there. So I want to hear your favorite, show only watcher theory. And yes, Fael is a vampire. It's really good. Perrin will lead wolves in last battle wolves, we'll call them, because we run out of characters here.
Right.
We have Couladin murder Rand or try. Okay, so Couladin tries to murder Rand. And then we have the Lanfear v. Egwene in Tel'aran'rhiod. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Lanfear v. Egwene in Tar. Okay. Which is your favorite, everyone, among those 4? Show only. Which one would you pick among those 4? I mean, we got Fael as a vampire is pretty strong, man.
I mean, that one was the one that I didn't want to dispel it, but that wasn't the one that I couldn't help but being super tickled, obviously.
Yeah.
Avoid that. Obviously, sometimes they'll come up with things like, oh my gosh, okay, so my cousin Maggie is one of our show only people, and last season in the final episode, she was like, oh, so Rand's gonna fall in love with Elaine. Just like that, because she's like, you could tell because he just looked up at her and immediately fell in love, and I was like, oh, well, I guess Yosha's got those acting chops.
He did a good job there.
He did a good job there.
By the way, is this the person you think is a vampire? Okay, I mean, I can kind of see this whole,
she's wearing dark clothing. She's got
she's
kind of
given that she's after the wolves. We just don't know it, right?
Mm-hmm.
She's here trying to befriend the wolf guy, and stop him from leading an army of wolves into the last battle.
She did say she's a hunter, so
Oh, she's a hunter. Good point. That is actually pretty good. You could come up with some probably good fan fiction.
So true.
That Fael is a vampire. Sorry, if there are any show only watchers out there right now, and me making fun of that theory made you feel like that's not true. That's just me making fun of it. That doesn't necessarily mean that's not true.
It's just funny. It's just, the fact that you've picked up on it so early.
Yes. I guess asking this question inherently suggests that, and so if you are show only watchers out there and you're like, actually, I believe one of these theories, maybe mute us until this moment's over and come back. We're not going to tell you which one of these is right, but you might get a feeling from how we're talking about it. Felucula is what Nosferatu.
Oh, that's good. That's good. I love it.
Count Mandarb.
That works too. Honestly, Count
my
Falcon
gosh.
sounds like a
Felicula. I like
Super
that one.
Smash Bros. Character.
Oh my gosh, these are so good. She's a vampire, half elf, vampire hunter. Yeah, there you go.
I was gonna say she's giving Blade a little bit with her outfit.
She's giving Blade.
Yeah, I could see it.
Oh my gosh. Count Mandarb is pretty dang great. I've only given this to you for 2 minutes, and chat has already turned this into, yes, apparently the best theory is definitely Fail's a vampire. And not only that, we're going to create some book canon around it.
I love it. Let's do it. I'll get back. I think
Count Falcon. There you go. Count Falcon sounds like a birding event. There you go.
It does indeed. You're not wrong.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, no, it is fun kind of seeing that show only journey we do have. And by the way, if you are here in your show only, we are like even during our live watch that we do after it's over, we try to stay again, kind of the same thing through where we are with the episodes and up through book 5. And then about an hour and a half into that discussion, we invite everybody to leave and we go full books. So we do kind of something similar to what you're talking about, which is give the show only fans but we do, ruin a little bit of like what's going on. It's like almost impossible to get like the freaks to talk about like they just saw an episode and then they're like, we can't say anything but just show would be really difficult. We tried that once. We had like I remember it was like first season or something where we're like, no spoilers like immediately after we would watch or whatever, and people were just like in chat. It was the most ridiculous thing. People were like, "Yeah, I really loved that part where they met that person in the whatever."
Yeah,
just like
for no reason in particular.
Kevin's cowling for another poll, so we'll end this one in the last 3 minutes. By the way, thank you for all watching us here. 250 voted on this one, and Fail is a vampire. By the way, I can already Fail as a vampire is going to be a Watt Idol related. I already know it's going to happen.
Fail is a vampire.
Someone's actually upset that I even mentioned that right now. They're like, "Dang it,
that was my idea."
Best Fail is a vampire name is our next poll. Everyone,
love it.
Count Mandarb is going to be our first option. Nosferatu. Which is so good.
That's a good movie, by the way. Nosferatu.
Felicula. That's so good. And then Count Falcons. There we go, everybody. So, best Fail is a vampire, name here. I want that music video. I know. I feel like we should spend the rest of this episode just coming up with lyrics for we should talk about, like, that should just be it. Critters would be like, yeah, I went on the Dusty Wheel. We basically talked about Watt Idol and Fail as a vampire, which has everything to do with the TV show.
Maybe we'll see Fail next episode, and then we'll all be looking for signs.
Oh, dang. Okay. I will send a mug or some Dusty Wheel swag. You'll win a gift certificate, something like that. Not right now, and it might take me a while. I have to put all these like caveats. But I will pick the best one. If you're here for the live watch and you identify the best, you're the first one to identify the best clue that Fail is a vampire from I'm assuming episode 5, where you're like,
hopefully she's in it.
Yeah. If Fail's in episode 5, again, we're not talking about episode 5 right now, so no one mentioned episode 5, but we will here shortly. We will watch maybe a little preview of it. So, but if Fail's in it, I'll be watching in chat. And if you come up with what gives you a sign that Fail is a vampire, the best one of the live watch and after show, I'll send you some swag. That's the most ridiculous idea, but I love it. Oh my
great.
Gosh.
Big fan.
Oh, see, this is already ruining it for people. I'm seeing like ideas here. They're saying like use the Monster Mash song. Oh man. Yes. Mr. James, is garlic a product of the Two Rivers?
Good question.
Yeah. People are they basically are like, yes, this is now a Watt Idol show. No. So we are talking, episode 4 for you, Critter, is that like favorite of the entire series so far?
Yeah. I've thought about it. I've sat with it.
You've sat in it?
I've sat in it. And because I have episode 1 of this season was such a banger, right? With the fighting and like getting back to the characters and they're all together and they're like playing drinking games. It was so much fun. It was just pure fun. And so I had to really think like, okay, this one is so lore heavy and beautiful and significant, but it's like an episode of television. Did it beat episode 1? And I have decided officially that absolutely yes, it does.
Officially, you're there.
Loved it. It was beautiful.
Yeah, I go back. I just turned it on today as I was getting ready. And I watched it another 1.5 times. And I was like, yeah, it's so much fun to watch. And you know, that's kind of like the point. I was going to post this thing. This was one of the ones I had fun doing, recently. I just sit down and do these things. I don't know why. They're fun.
No, it was perfect. I saw that. It's perfect.
Yeah. Like, I don't know. My brain said Close Encounters of the Third Kind here. Like they're all kind of staring at this like alien invasion kind of thing. And like, it just gave me vibes of that. This one was brought up. Everyone saw this one, right?
Oh yeah. Immediately. Mushrooms.
And I don't know. This one came to me too. Like on the second or third watch, I think was
works.
like the glass crystal columns, their past, their powers, their ability. Like, you know what I mean? I was just like, oh, a little like Superman moment. Obviously the Death Star here. The Dune one, we all are familiar with, like the Bene Gesserit idea. This one, what's so funny about this one is I did not want that image. I just could not find, this was the best I could do. I just couldn't find like a classic Western that had, I know there's gotta be like one with the same shot as Lewin here,
like in Tombstone or something.
I couldn't go and watch. I just tried to do some search, and I'm like, I cannot find the Western vibe I'm looking for. But then I thought Batman, and I saw this image, and I was like, it's kind of giving the same vibes to me. So I went with it. And then my fellow Innkeeper threw me this one for this. I think those were so good. I love those kind of influence things. I had a chance to speak. We'll post this eventually. I don't want to make any commitments right now. It's so busy. I'm going to post the interview with Thomas Napper, but I had a chance to talk to him, and I brought up this question about the hobbits and stuff. And like his answer was more like, you know, it's just an aspect of us as viewers seeing things that look familiar, right? It's just an aspect of just the stories, the legends, right? It's very Wheel of Time, right? It's very Robert Jordan to kind of like, what are the influences? What are the legends? What are the stories that you grew up with, and how are they reflected in other media and mediums?
Has anybody sorry, I was going to ask, did anybody with the show that you talked to bring up like Blade Runner 2049?
No.
My gosh, that reminded me of it so
the sound
much.
Was the sound portion of that?
The sound and the visuals, because like, you know, you've got Ryan Gosling in like a dust, you know, like whenever he goes out into the desert or whatever, I don't know, it's a desert, but it's like this abandoned place and it's like foggy. It's just almost, it's perfect. Like that was one of the first things I thought of, plus the sound.
You brought up something, and I was gonna save this because I was like, no, I want to do like, I was going to do like a show. I always think about this. I'm going to like pre-record something, or I'll do another live stream, and then I'll forget everybody. So I will do this now. Let me send myself, you just brought up sound, and I had one of those moments where I think I discovered something. I don't know if they did it on purpose. I'll have to like go and ask them. But I'm like not trying to be, let's see if I can find this file. Now, the next 10 minutes are going to be Matt trying to find the.
But while you're doing that, there's another one that.
Go for it.
So the boar, you know, the big picture, the top picture on that thing that you just shared.
Yeah.
I just happened to watch Annihilation. It's a more obscure movie, but the same guy who did like Civil War did Annihilation earlier. It's got Natalie Portman in it. It's a sci-fi horror, which, you know, Wheel of Time.
Yeah.
But towards the end of Annihilation, there's something that happens that reminds me so much of the boar, and it uses like extreme bass with like almost like a metallic dissonance, which sounds so much like what it sounded like in the show. There was another thing that I was like, man, that's those two things. Like, they reminded me so it's so iconic, and I loved it in Annihilation, and getting a version of that in Wheel of Time made me really happy. So.
100%. Like, by the way, Young Guns 2 was what I thought about Jennifer, but I could not find the scene. I just couldn't find it. So if anyone finds an image out there, this is the one, everybody. So enjoy this. Hold on a second. Oh, hold on. Here we go. I'll play this one, and I think it's fun. And you tell me if you agree.
Okay.
So the ways, I remember hearing as like Rand is walking through the columns, I was just like, that scream, I swear we've heard the scream before. There's like some screams and so I went back and listened, and there's like a moment in the ways as they're kind of coming over to the final thing, and they both have like that same, there's like a high pitched kind of scream in that moment. And I was like, oh, these sound very, the screaming wind aspect of it sounds very, very similar. Yeah. So I had to like piece it together, and then I tried to play them over each other because it would seem dissonant, in my opinion, if they weren't similar. Yeah. And it just goes like, you can't tell. Yeah. You can't tell in that last part. If I go back to the last part, it's not like, let me go to 1 second. Here you go. There's like some other aspects to it. Like nothing. If you heard that sound, if that mix of the two was for the ways, you'd just been like, yeah, that was the ways, right?
Or Pitch Black, a movie with Vin Diesel from like, I don't know, 1998 or something. It sounds like Pitch Black. At night, whenever the bad guys, the beasts.
Yeah. Oh no, it does. Oh, now that you say that.
Yeah, right. Like, sorry.
Now I want to put Vin Diesel. I don't want to put him into that moment.
Vin Diesel in the ways.
Detsy said, "I'm going to add that to my ASMR playlist."
Soothing.
Oh, I like that one. MJ Daniels said, "Raiders of the Lost Ark." Liat said, "That scared my dog." Yeah. I wonder how those would sound in stereo. That's an interesting idea. I don't know that I'm as skilled enough to do that, but I love that idea. If someone wants to take this idea and run with it, just like be like, yeah, I heard this with Innkeeper, but I wanted to throw these things together. Definitely. Please do. By the way, almost 300 of you voted on this one. Best Fail is a vampire name. What do you think won? Have you looking at chat?
I just looked at
Critter?
chat.
Okay.
Count Mandar won.
Count Mandar, but Nos Failtu was close. Was close, everybody.
I went for Fail. Wow, I can't even say it now. Failcula. Well, I shouldn't have voted for it because I can't even say it. I thought it sounded good when you said it.
Failcula.
And so I voted for Failcula.
Failcula.
Count Mandar was pretty excellent, though.
No, absolutely. Those are amazing names. Thank you very much. Yes, Pitch Black, is it called?
It's called Pitch Black, yeah, with Vin Diesel.
Sheldon was like, play it backwards. Yeah. I like that we played the credits back and asked them if they had kind of taken part in that, because you saw it. Did you notice that immediately, or just someone had to point it out to you? Kind of the credit scene that rotated backwards. Was that something you noticed immediately?
Something I didn't notice ever until somebody in my comments was like, "Did you notice?" And I was like, "Holy crap!" It's amazing. Yeah, no.
I know. Like the things that the fans pick out, like. Every once in a while, I find something like that, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, no one's mentioned that." Okay.
Something I have to say, something that's really embarrassing. I didn't notice. Everyone else in the world has apparently noticed that in the Hobbit scene, it's supposed to be like Rand, Matt, and Perrin. I did not.
Okay, yeah.
Did not pick up on
and you weren't there. You didn't see that one.
No, I saw hobbits. Is what I saw. And that's that was the end of it.
That was all it was necessary.
Yeah, I saw Merry, Pippin, and Frodo. So yeah.
Okay, so I have a couple more because I was like, maybe this is okay. I don't know if everyone's gonna think this is. I'll send this one to me and you guys tell me, because in that same scene that you're talking about, where they were showing us this idea of, okay, these are kind of like, I mean. My favorite is someone called them like dollar store Edmonds Fielders, whatever. Like I was like, not the real ones. Like I noticed something else that no one's talked about, which maybe it wasn't only Rand, Matt, and Perrin. Maybe it's also Egwene. So let me show you this, and people in chat can be like, "Oh yeah, we noticed that, Matt. We said that, and you just were, oblivious, and you didn't hear us during." Or you didn't see it in live stream or something, because I don't know if that happens to you during the live stream, where people like afterwards are like, yeah, I sent that theory to you 7 times and you never saw it, and then like you're like, no, that's my new theory.
Yeah, I thought of that. I 100% that was me. It was just subliminally given to me over
Yeah,
time,
yeah.
and I just didn't.
It wasn't like I
clock it.
saw it in chat, you know?
Yeah.
So let me show you where I was like, okay, like this is an interesting idea. It was during a rewatch. When we do the live watch, what happens sometimes I'm watching chat and I miss like somebody was like, this scene happened. And then I do like a watch with my family and I'm kind of watching their reactions. So I miss a scene. So like on Sundays, I go back and I'm just like, I am not going to pick up a device.
Yeah.
I'm literally just going to watch the show. And in watching it this time, like that time, I was like, wait, why do they have this person hanging out in the back of the scene? Like, it doesn't make any sense why this person's in the scene. So,
am I about to get rickrolled?
No.
Okay.
I know, like, I'm not going to show Lanfear in the back of the scene or anything.
That's
like,
what I'm waiting for.
I know, I get it.
And the fact that you think it's Egwene, I'm like, I'm being tempted. Like, he's specifically tempting me.
You're like, did he set me up?
God,
did this happen on? That's funny. Honestly, like, this is how like disconnected I am. Like, I'm like so into this moment that I'm like, right behind that guy's shoulder on the left, right?
Yeah.
There's that. She's standing there.
Watching. Yeah.
She's just watching. And then he leaves. And then you have Lewin kind of talk to his mom. And she's like, everyone's kind of left, but she's still in the back because he calls out to her. I'm trying to like, she turns. Come on. It's a sad moment, but I want to get to my point here. I'm like, come on.
This
I'm
was
like,
brutal,
now,
though. This
now I'm
was
like,
so brutal.
does it show up here? I'm so into it. I'm like outside of the, like, this is really, really sad. Fashion's like, this is hatchlighting. I'm not hatchlighting you.
Man, Yosha really dominated the scene.
Oh, he did. 100%. Like,
heartbreaking.
Right back there.
She's just standing there.
She is just standing there, right? And I was like, everyone else is gone from the scene. They're doing something, but she's standing there. So yeah, that was my question was, I did like a little zoom in, and then
either a very disobedient extra, or that's Egwene.
Well, I mean, again, were they trying to? How far did they take this idea? You know, if they're like, how far did they take this? Right. So were they giving us, an Egwene here, right?
That's really interesting. That almost like with very blurry kind of looks like Madeline.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. I know. Like, I was like, wait, why do they put her back there? And she's watching and she's like, so, and then I'm like, oh my gosh, I wonder if they went further and they gave, they put all four of them in this moment. So
see, when you said Egwene, I was like, the sisters, like, because there are two girls, but I don't see them
like,
doing that.
like, is Matt messing with me? Because Egwene is, so what's your call there? Like, is this an Egwene, what do we call it? Clone? Not clone, but like, what would you call the, is that Hobbit Egwene? I don't know. That's not,
yes, that's a perfect way to say
Hobbit
it.
version of Egwene? I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's
or is that, I'll just say, is that Egwene in this timeline? Yes or no?
I think Hobbit Egwene was perfect, but you do you.
Yes, Hobbit Egwene was too. Well, I didn't want people to get stuck on. I'm like, she's not a Hobbit,
that's fair.
Egwene or Egwene. Sorry. Everyone stop voting. Everyone stop voting. Stop voting. Stop voting. I don't know why I don't get to the man. Like, my chat has to be like, we're gonna have to prompt him again. He's not going to do.
You can do that with so many characters.
He's
Elaine
not
or Elaine.
going to do Egwene and Egwene. Like, we're going to have to like, I get it, everybody. Okay. Egwene or Egwene is your, Egwene doppelganger. What do we say? Egwene-like, or I would just say Egwene or Egwene. There you go.
Yeah, they get it.
If you all get stuck up on the fact that it's not actually Madeline Madden, then that's on you, not me. There you go.
Agreed.
He stopped and pulled to rerun it. That's not my Innkeeper. Yes. Who's the Hobbit chick? Sam Maris. No, it's
Rosie
like,
Cotton.
I don't know why. Like, it caught my eye, and I was like, wait a second. So then there was another one. Okay.
Okay.
So going down the same idea as they're going back, do you remember what is his name? Who's the old guy who's like, Aiden, whatever.
I don't know.
That's
It's not Lewin because that's the Hobbit.
No, it's not. It's not Lewin. Who is it, everybody?
Tell us.
Who is this guy? I'm like, who's this guy?
The guy.
I like affected an accent there. Okay. Everybody's. Oh, Jonai. Was it Jonai?
Oh, that could be it.
Okay. So I don't know if you recall in this moment, but Jonai is speaking to Aiden.
Mm-hmm.
And he talks to him. Yes, he's grandfather, right? There we go.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And they're talking about burying the dead. Do you remember what he says about Aiden's mother?
All I remember is that like we bury the dead and we move on or whatever.
Right? But he starts telling, I can't remember if this is the moment, so I'm kind of leaving this to play. Your mother, here we go, saw great things in her dreams. And then I was like, wait, how far are they taking this? Right?
Okay.
Interesting.
Okay.
Saw great things in her dreams, right?
You're starting to convince me. I wasn't sure about the first girl, but now.
I know. She was a dreamer. Okay? And then there's this really sad moment. And they pick up the flower and they set it on Aiden's mother's head. Right?
And yeah.
And is that supposed to be, are they, how much are they playing with this idea that Egwene, that Egwene has been part of the story, or an Egwene-like, a dreamer? And there was, right, it wasn't, and again, I tried to do a little bit of, because this is just who I am, right? I tried to find like a face positioning.
Honestly, I was going to say that upper face kind of looked like
Madeline does.
Again.
I know.
Right. You're right. It does.
I know. Like, that's what I'm saying.
I believe you. Yeah, you sold me.
I saw this stuff and I was like, wait a second. Yeah. So
I totally didn't catch that.
I was just like, are they trying to are they messing with us? Like, to kind of, not messing with us, or not, like, this is on purpose, right? They're doing the same kind of thing, right? And she's a dreamer. Your mom's a dreamer, right? And then we get onto the next. Anyway, I don't know.
That's fascinating.
I don't know, right?
I think you're right.
Egwene or Quicksilver said Egwene might represent dreamers, but I don't think she's there in Aiel history. I'm not saying it's like one of those things. I don't think that's Matt or Perrin, or I don't think that's like necessarily those souls. I'm wondering if just like they're trying to give us the visual connection to these people that we later meet, right? And visually kind of connecting. It's not like those people look exactly like the other actors, right?
Right.
So, anyways,
that's fun.
What did
I like it?
It's Sally Richardson. Yes, 13th Depository said, I must rewatch the episode now. Yeah, I mean, that was, again, kind of one of those episodes I feel like you can just go back and you're going to hear something a little bit different than they said it. There is one more, and I can't remember but this is something somebody told me, and I looked into it, but it's not the case, but I thought I'd show the theory, which was kind of fun. And this has to do with the Waygate. Oh my gosh. We never talked about the Waygate with Andy.
Oh, man. No.
The amount of stuff that we just got into and never brought up the Waygate. Oh man. But anyways, sorry. I just had that moment of oh, I love the freaking Waygate. And
me too.
We just didn't have enough time to get there. So
it's so
I'll try to get over that. I'm gonna let that go. I'm gonna let that go. I have to come back and do it later. Okay, so we all are familiar with this moment, right? And if you notice the chair behind her, look at the design on it, right? And you have the design, and in the wall of the chair is the Sarkanan or whatever it is, right? And you have the kind of the look of that is like leaves on a vine.
Yeah.
Right. And so I did compare them. They're not the same, but I do want to show the scene. Not the same exact, but I like the idea because you have this effect that they created for the Waygate. Oops, I'm ahead here. Let's watch this moment here. And yeah, somebody mentioned this. Alex said, I noticed this. People mention this, but you have this, right? Mm-hmm. He's putting an object of the power, and you have the leaves, and it into it, just like you have the Sarkarnan. I can't remember how to say that stupid word.
Sarkonin.
I can't believe I'm struggling with that.
There's
one.
Sarkonin, right? Because there's no R.
Flavor was saying, I noticed this. Yeah, that one I thought was a lot of fun. Similar tech, perhaps.
Well, and it's like based on the same tree, right?
Oh yeah, true. Right. Yes. Yeah. You exactly. Avendosora, right?
Yeah, I think they're both like, because in the book it was like the Avendosora leaf was the one that he picked out as the key, right? Yeah. And then Harkonnen, right? That's what it sounds like.
Dana Lewis said it was Sarkarnan, and Sarkonnen. Do we need to listen? Do they say Sarkonnen? Does she say Sarkonnen like that?
Sarkonnen.
Do they use that word when they're? We're gonna watch it, guys. We'll listen to the text here, because it's all
gotta resolve this.
Exactly, we gotta resolve this.
Echor, sono.
Avende wixi kuchun koyerishi. That's too hot.
I shine kuchesane bashuchora. Coenton, Maratha Sahar Beniket. Inda. Karenchon Doblean. Sinful yit de alge soval. And I yield lache coanto and balfreit sa shine.
Shine. Feldin Kodome. Ayend a Falman. Asagso a Frenya shine.
I love this discussion between them.
I ste Feldin. Naxo hier so yugra. I saw the rain sen hayatsu shaigreal. Vinlog veldan nieren sedai. By the way, she's not even going to say it. I'm going to be like... Iket, sa angreal, sa freit, sa karnen, noop nishai.
There you go.
Sakarnen. Okay.
Okay.
I was officially being corrupted by Dune.
Sakarnen.
Sakarnen.
Yeah, I love this. Baron von Sakarnen. Or Fade Raltha Sakarnen. That's really good. Oh man, that was such a this moment in the episode. They carried the story forward. This is one of those moments I had where from season 1, episode 8, I was like, what are they doing with, like, they're kind of changing the story here, and why are they setting up Latra like this? I don't understand, right? And it was like one of those moments where you're like, is that season 1 kind of like, I don't get it, I don't like it, this is lame, why are they doing this? But it's like we're in season 3, right? We're almost towards the end of season 3.
It's all coming together.
Like, okay, yeah. It's hard to be like, to love something so much, to see it adapted and like have to wait the multiple seasons to see payoffs and like where they're going with the story. But I'll say, like, now if I go back and watch that, less bothersome from the like, oh, they're changing this, and more like, okay, I see the story that they're telling about Lews Therin and Latra and what's happening here. And I like that you even get this back and forth between them.
Yeah.
Where she's like, yeah, but you say no violence, but we're having to kill like our brothers, right? And she's like, and she's over there like, yeah, but Mirren was the problem, right? Like it's showing you kind of like the kind of complexity of what's happening right there. And then that they use Latra earlier in the episode, we see her in a much older version of Latra.
I will say our show only person did not put 2 and 2 together that was the same person.
Okay. Yeah.
So, but for us, it's like,
fair.
We've seen her multiple times now.
Yeah.
But I didn't even ask if you remembered her from season 1.
Yeah. Do you feel like you trusted, like, were you in that kind of mode? It's hard to maybe remember season 1, but were you like, they're going to tell a story and I'll eventually understand why all these decisions were made? or did you kind of have that kind of stark response to things? And then has it gotten any better? Are you still in the same place where you're in season 1? Like, how's your reaction been now that we have like 2.5 seasons under us?
So in season 1, I was very much just like, oh my God, I'm so happy this is happening. You know, like, and I was just on cloud 9, right? And I understood that there were some COVID limitations with the final 2 episodes, so I was incredibly forgiving. But when we got the Age of Legends cold open that you're talking about, in my brain, I was like, well, they don't have the budget for like the actual confrontation, you know, where like Lews Therin is like, he's like, you know, doing the thing with the 100 companions. They don't have the budget. We're going to get it later. That was what I said in my mind. Like, it'll be a future season. It'll be a cold open in season 2. No, it'll be a cold open in another season. And so I'm still hoping that we get it eventually. But at the time I was like, but it's cool that we got the old tongue. Yeah. So I think basically at the time I was just willing to like forgive most things because I was like, budget, COVID, whatever. And then I feel like my faith was rewarded because season 2 was just so much better than season 1. And then season 3 so far has just been, oh my God, so much better than season 2 that it's like, well, yeah, they're doing more and more every season. They're connecting things that we weren't sure about before. And as I said, my faith has been rewarded.
Yeah, no, it's so interesting. Like, this is the first time trying to think if there's any other instance for me where I have liked some material so much that's being adapted. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this like my first time through that type of engagement with, like, you know, adapting a medium. I'm trying to, again, like other stories, like even like Lord of the Rings, I'd read them, not a huge like hardcore fan of those books, right? Yeah. I've seen other adaptations. It's the first time something I've just like loved and seeing adapted, and it did take me until, like you said, season 2, where they really got into season 2, and like we were halfway through, and I was like, they're doing it. And then it got to the end, and like even like seeing the beginning of season 3, I'm just like, at this point, gosh, I want to see, like, I want to see him keep going now.
I know, like, me too.
It's like maturing, like the story is maturing that they're telling. Absolutely. The changes that they made are maturing. There are still things that happen that they've retconned, but that's okay. Like, I didn't even think about this. I was like, yeah, there's a lot of season 1 stuff that's being retconned and whatever. So yeah, it's been quite an interesting experience to get to this point and just be like, show me more. Like, I just want to see more now.
See, you know? I'm like a core millennial. Like, that's my age group. And so I grew up in fandom culture, right? I read Lord of the Rings, so I was very, like, they dropped when I was like in either grade school or high school. I can't remember. But anyways, whenever they came out, it was like midnight release. You know what I mean? And then Harry Potter, and then Twilight. And I was like midnight release girly. I would dress up and for the books and for the movies. And so the fact that this is happening again and I'm like an adult and it's for my favorite book series, I'm just living the dream right now.
Yeah. I know. Like, season 3 has been, loved it so far. What are your hopes and dreams for episode 5? Have you watched, and do you, I mean, I don't want to, normally during the show, we'll watch kind of like the little trailer they make for the next episode. Have you watched it already?
I haven't, but I'm fine watching it. Because in my brain, I'm like, I'm going to do a reaction, and then I don't because I don't have time. So,
okay,
so
we're not taking away anything from your.
No.
Okay, no. So if you are still here, by the way, I saw some people had to leave. Hopefully, you're feeling better, or you come back and join us for the live watch. Remember, please go set notifications on that video. If you're one of the, apparently there's like over 600 of you still watching us. So awesome. We really appreciate your excitement. We feed off of it. And as you can see, we did ridiculous polls today because you're here. And okay, we always do ridiculous polls, even no matter how many people are here, but whatever. Be here for our live watch. Begins at 2 a.m. Eastern. We are, what is it right now? It's like, is that 4 hours away? Hold on. Am I doing my math right? Yes. 4 hours from now, right? Yeah, something like that. 4 hours from now, we will be live again with our pre-live watch entertainment, and then we'll be watching it together, and can't wait to do that with all of you. And about 300 of you voted on this poll, by the way. Egwene or Egwene? They weren't as convinced as you were, Critter.
I wasn't for the first round, but then the second round.
Okay, that one got you.
That one got me.
56%. So half the, a little bit more than half the audience. I mean, 56 is good. And that's pretty good. By the way, we're going to jump into some of the clips that have, or at least that trailer, and if Critter wants to see the other clip that was released, we'll watch that. If right now you're like, I don't want to see anything episode 5, I've been avoiding it, totally understand. And
happy to watch.
You guys feel free to step away at this point. I know I have some mods that would prefer not to, prefer not to see it if they don't have to see it. So let me jump over to the Wheel of Time account and let's watch the. That's right, everybody. I don't have it set up just yet.
I have Fail as a vampire in my head now.
Fail's vampires. It's there,
yeah,
right?
It's the song that it's brewing.
Okay, here we are. Enjoy this one, everybody. Okay.
I have seen 1,000 futures. If the White Tower does not bend the knee to Randall Thor, he will lose the last battle.
I'm calling for a boat in the hall to cage the dragon reborn.
Bring me the truth, so I can take Elida's head.
The time for watching him is through, Egwene Sedai. We're going to walk the dream.
Okay, I'm gonna watch it again. One time is not enough. There we go. Here we go.
I have seen 1,000 futures. If the White Tower does not bend the knee to Randall Thor, he will lose the last battle.
I'm calling for a boat in the hall to cage the dragon reborn.
Bring me the truth, so I can take Elida's head.
The time for watching him is through, Egwene Sedai. We're going to walk the dream.
Okay, what do you think, and what is in your head to focus on there? Like, what stood out to you the most?
I guess thing number one was the confrontation between Egwene and Lanfear confirmed ? But mainly as like a lore person, it was the Sakarnan. Sakarnan, is that what we determined?
Yeah.
Maureen.
Now we're like
it's Sakarnan.
It's Sarkanan.
No, that's what we said before.
Sakarnan?
Sakarnan.
I want to go back and listen.
No, because Sarkanan was wrong because it was Harkonnen, which is Dune, and that's wrong. But okay. No, it's Moraine dealing with the Sakarnan, and whether she's got the strength to do it and what she's gonna do with it.
Yeah, it does.
That's where I'm at.
It does look like there's Sangreal's don't look like her face right here.
Mm-hmm.
You definitely seems like it's stressing a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like Sakarnan. There we go. Look.
Doing our best.
Sakarnan. There we go. Thank you for not all wonders. Like, thank you. Elongate the R. There we go.
Sakarnan.
Yeah. Now she has this Sangreal, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, okay, what's that going to turn into? Do you have any theories now? You haven't seen anything beyond where we're at.
I have not. No.
Do you have a theory of like how that or if that Sangreal will play a role?
I have. I'm nervous. I'm nervous about whether, because I have a lot of people in my ear, who have read the books, and some of them are concerned that a lot of Rand's big moments have been taken by other people, and so I'm a little nervous that Moraine is going to bring the water up in Ruidian or make it rain in the waste. And then that's going to be another thing that Rand didn't get to do.
So you think that it's like a power thing related to the ending of the Shadow Rising,
book 4,
related to maybe something that like Yeah. Do you think that is what you said? You're nervous. Is that what your theory is, or do you think it's? Do you have a theory, or you haven't really developed something behind it?
Honestly, like if I had to speculate as to what I would think, if I didn't have all the whispers, all the people being nervous in my ear, I might say that she up on the hill in the desert is just trying to test it out, trying to like gauge how amazing it is, and then she's gonna find out real quick that it's really amazing.
And it's a little bit harder to
and hard to control.
Manage.
That's it's a test. This is only a test. That's my official prediction.
Gotcha. What we're seeing right now, at least.
Yes. Right.
This is how excited are you to see what they do with? I mean, they've kind of been giving us some
so excited,
right? We've seen some season 2 related, this moment where, she just kind of whatever you call that, dissipating.
I say she disintegrates, but yeah,
disintegrating. And I saw some people kind of theorize about this moment right here. Do you think that is? Some people are like, maybe that's Brigitte, and I was like, I don't know. This just looks like it's like someone
dreaming,
almost like
a little kid dreaming,
kid running and dreaming.
That's what I would guess, just based on what we're seeing.
And she's kind of like, I hope they do that. I love the idea that they're potentially including this, where she's seeing people touch Tel'aran'rhiod. And I love that this is this their first? No, this isn't. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how they're handling dreaming, right? Is she bringing herself into Tel'aran'rhiod proper here? They're not in a dream per se, or is this I don't know? Is this Tel'aran'rhiod proper not getting inside her dream? Is this the dream world, right? They call it Tel'aran'rhiod, right? So are we seeing her actually in? Is this Tar-Valon? Is that what we?
It kind of looks like it.
Kind of has a Tar-Valon. Is this Tel'aran'rhiod Tar-Valon, and that's why we're seeing somebody touch it, right? And that's why I think we're seeing that, right? In her dream, we wouldn't see that.
Yeah. Honestly, whenever she was getting beaten up or she was getting injured, I at first was like, it's a nightmare, right? Because those can actually hurt you.
Yeah.
Right. But I was wrong, obviously. But this, I would bet is Tel'aran'rhiod.
Yeah, I wonder if that's what we see. It feels like they're kind of cluing us into this is a little bit different, and so that's what I think of this as actually Tel'aran'rhiod. Before we were talking about being in their dreams and going into someone's dreams, and they showed a lot of dream manipulation, but actually seeing somebody touch the dream world, Tel'aran'rhiod, I'm excited about that.
Pretty
finally
cool
kind
stuff.
of building on some of the. That lore, and this moment, of course, yes, I'm excited to see kind of Lanfear come in. It's almost like Lanfear's no.
What are you doing here? Get out of here,
sis.
This is mine.
You are not because she's outside of her dream, right? So this isn't this isn't a nightmare. She's actually in Tel'aran'rhiod learning to use it. And so that's why this feels like such a difference for those of us. This might be hard for those show only watchers to understand the difference. So I'll be interested when I'll be interested in kind of your show only watcher. What do they see? Do they notice a difference of what's happening here as compared to her dreams just being manipulated? Does that make sense? When she's in the that what do they call it, the kennels for the Shanshan, and she's being attacked by Lanfear, do they notice the difference between what that is and what this is?
So you think that was her dream? See, I thought whenever Rand and Lanfear visited her in season 2, they were visiting her in her dream.
Yes, I think that's what I think.
And then,
I think they're going into her dream, right? So you're asking where Rand is?
No. In this season when Lanfear was beating her, part of me thought that was Tel'aran'rhiod because if Lanfear infiltrates her dream, she shouldn't be able to hurt her that badly, right?
She can pull her. Well, this kind of gets a little spoilery, but from a metaphysics standpoint, what they did, I guess I'll just say it this way because we're not going any further than Fires of Heaven. I'll say what they did metaphysically there, if they're using kind of book specific ideas, that can all happen within
her dream,
outside of Tel'aran'rhiod. Does that make sense? It can happen in the dreams themselves.
Okay.
The dream aspect, and not like the non-permanent reflection of reality that is Tel'aran'rhiod.
Okay.
So yes, you're right. She could be pulling her into Tel'aran'rhiod to the kennels themselves, and the non-permanent reflection Tel'aran'rhiod of the kennels.
Or Egwene could be dreaming herself into that because she's fixated on it.
She could, yes, that's possible for her to have done that too. Yes.
Right.
So it's kind of comes down to interpretation of like what they're doing. Yeah.
Right.
So
okay.
That's Lanfear pulled her in. They believe. All Braziers believes that's like self-flagellation. That's possible. Can Lanfear be in two dreams at the same time?
Sure seemed like she was.
Project herself into two dreams? Like, in other words, it depends on what she's creating and where they're at. So yes, like for her to be there, for them both to be seeing her, those would be more dream-focused metaphysics than Tel'aran'rhiod proper physics. But technically speaking, even in Tel'aran'rhiod, you could make yourself exist in multiple. Like you could, it's basically whatever you can control it that way.
If you've got the will, there's a way.
Yes, exactly. That's a great way to think about it. So it could be a nightmare that Lanfear is controlling in Tel'aran'rhiod. There's a basis. Yes, that's true. It could be something like that. Egwene isn't dreaming herself there, and Lanfear is pulling her there and torturing her there. That's very possible. Again, we're just trying to figure out, is it, and I know the distinction seems like a strange one to care to make. I don't know if the show is really going to spend too much time on it.
What they're going to do with that.
It's in Tel'aran'rhiod, or is it in her dreams? Is it in dreams, or is it in Tel'aran'rhiod? Not the same exact thing. So.
And I will be curious to see if the special effects team comes up with the, whenever they're like floating outside of the dreams and there's all little like sparkles of light that you can
I hope they do that.
Identify people's dreams.
Man, if they give us what we used to call the gap of infinity, I would love that, seeing all the dreams. Man, I hope that they've done something like that. That'd be so cool.
Honestly, that would almost be like if you've seen Interstellar, whenever it's like with all the like the weird like hive that he goes into towards the end. Spoilers, and you can see a bunch of different like rooms. Anyways, doesn't matter.
You're like Interstellar spoilers. Too bad we don't have a. You can do it. You can do.
You've had like 20 years, 10, at least 10 years. So yeah.
The map of infinity. I like that.
It works.
I think in the show, Tar is all dreams. It's possible that they simplify it down for sure.
But that flash of a person makes me think Tel'aran'rhiod, like somebody's dreaming themselves into it.
Somebody getting dreaming in would be that kind of adding something that we have not actually seen elsewhere in this. So I hope they've gone that route. Is there anything like that? Is that scene? Do you want to see another scene? Again,
I'm down.
It's actually from the episode.
I'm down. Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Let's do it.
I don't want to take away, because I know like the reactions is part of what you do also.
It is. I'll just have to, talk about it instead of like raw reacting to it.
Here we go. So this one I have not seen, so
me either.
I'm looking forward to seeing this moment. Here we go.
All right.
Oh, yes. Did you hear that voice?
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Here we go.
All right.
I've come to you this way because I have no time.
Where are you?
I've been through the rings of Ruidian.
You're in the Isle Waste.
I have seen 1,000 futures. And I know two things to be true. If the White Tower does not bend the knee to Randall Thor, he will lose the last battle. And that's it.
No. You don't get to do that. Not to me. What would you have done? In Cairhien, knowing what I knew, what would you have done?
The same.
Worse, perhaps. Then why do you punish me? You think I don't punish myself?
We each had a job. Mine was to find the Dragon Reborn. Yours was to prepare the tower to follow.
Oh man, that seems like there's still more there. I was like, as soon as I started watching it, like she came walking in, and I was like, maybe you should have waited until you saw the whole episode, because like it was like so intense, right?
We've heard a lot of that dialogue, so I don't feel that's
we have, but it was just like you could just no, it was just more like the moment, you know, seeing that moment of the two of them
for the first time since Karian. Yikes!
And they did a little audio thing with the dream there. Did you hear that right at the beginning? Listen to the way that she says Moraine and kind of the echo a bit. I thought this is what I heard. Hold on a second. One second.
Moraine.
You hear the echo?
Yeah. Interesting.
And then she says,
I've come to you this way because I have no time.
Where are you?
Again.
I've been through the rings of Ruidian.
And so I like wonder if however she's coming to her is different, and maybe she's not fully there. And so there's like a little bit of an echo.
Reverberation.
So there's a reverberation or something in there. Like I was like, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I wonder how is she getting there? Right. And then is that reverberation again something they're doing to kind of like build out the differences? Like Andy Scrase, right, and Brian Shows were just on, and they were talking about how there's a team on the sound side of things, right, and like this has a feel of like something different that they haven't done before, or they're like giving us to kind of, again, just like that person running through the streets. That's like one of those where I go, shoot, Andy, can Andy come back on the show? I want to ask about the dude running. But that seems exactly what it is. It's like somebody, they're giving us more clues and dimensions of kind of like what this world is like. So I loved that little kind of, and this Ashlyn said the dream ring, you know, is it a ring? Is it something that are the wise ones helping? You know, Ooh. Are they somehow kind of helping her to be there?
That would be so interesting. There,
like she doesn't have a lot of time. She has to come and tell her, and then she.
So we have to assume that like that's a dream bubble, or what do they call that? A dream shard?
Yeah, like you'd have to kind of like. Well, this where they're at feels like the Tel'aran'rhiod. That kind of. It's like, yeah, that's a good question. Is this okay? Here we go. Where is Siuan?
Yeah, because if she's in the world of dreams,
in her own dream, she's like using the Tel'aran'rhiod. Those feel like the only, like, or pulled into, like, Moraine's dream, maybe.
Maybe.
So it's like. Basically, is Moraine going in there? Have they pulled Siuan? But the wise ones, I think that would be any of the stuff the wise ones participating in. They really are particular about how they interact with dreams, at least in the books, right?
Yeah.
What they don't feel is okay. Whereas Siuan, in her own dream, using the Tel'aran'rhiod, pulled into Moraine's dream.
I think that's a good pull.
Yeah, no, Amy's is right. Pulling someone else into your dream is an evil thing. I understand it. I don't know that that's what they're going to hold the wise ones to in the show. That's something we hear. But yeah, let me using the Tel'aran'rhiod. I think that's good enough. We'll see what people have to say. Using the Tel'aran'rhiod from the tower that Lan grabbed. Am I forgetting a Tel'aran'rhiod that Lan grabbed from the tower? Or just maybe that he did grab one or something? Because I don't remember that he grabbed one.
I don't either.
You know.
Yeah, that's basically using the Tel'aran'rhiod would be like suggesting.
Does she have a portable picture frame? Yes.
I did wonder if she just carried it around with her everywhere.
Oh, Retired something said, I think Rosamund spoiled this somewhat in an interview I wish I hadn't seen today. Okay, well, I don't want to watch that interview then. I can wait like another bit of time. We'll just stick to these two today, everybody. If you heard something from that interview with Rosamund, please don't post it in here. If you have already, that's okay, but please don't. As soon as you're hearing this, please don't add any more to that. So, and for those of you that are kind of curious, when does the show drop? It's at 3 a.m. Eastern. Which is, and we'll be back live in less than 4 hours. Yeah.
I have a question. Do you sleep or do you stay awake? Do you sleep
so,
before?
No, I try. It's so funny. My friend Brian, the Gleeman, he also tries. We try to like sleep before, and I think he's had more success. Although he explains it the same way. Like you're laying down and you're closing your eyes, and did you ever actually get to sleep? I don't think I'm actually sleeping. But at least I guess I'm resting.
Brian might be like more experienced at it than you right now, just because he has a baby, or he's had a he has a young kid. And
he
so
can get like
for me, like
small
right
sleep.
now,
Yeah,
I'm so used to 3-hour cat naps that that wouldn't be that weird. But I'm so sleep deprived that I have to wait until tomorrow when I'm actually awake to watch, because
what I
can't
try to do is like
sleep.
I try to end at like 5 o'clock my time in the morning. So then I can get like 5 hours of sleep and still go to work and get in at like 10.
Nice.
That's like the next 3 weeks of my life, So
well, I'm sure like your particular job is also helpful to be like, Wheel of Time's on. What am I supposed to do?
Well, I'm like, I don't want to. I try not to use that as an excuse. So I'm always like, okay, I will just have a longer day. I'll get in a little bit later.
Yeah. Okay, that's fair.
Start a little earlier, leave a little earlier, kind of stuff. Try not to like, Wheel of Time, right? But
it's
just
like, I figured like Brandon would just make it a holiday. Like,
it's the Wheel of Time
day. What are we gonna do?
Like for me, it absolutely is. People asked if I had seen the event. I have not seen the Amazon event, so yeah, let's not like put those in here. Spoilers for that. Almost 200 of you vote on this one. Where's Swan? In her own dream, using the Tel'aran'rhiod. Those are kind of split the vote right now.
Wow.
It would make sense to me. She's in her own dream here.
That she would dream herself.
Yeah,
there.
And that's why they're maybe giving us a little bit of difference of what what that is. So
she seems so shocked that Moghedien was there, though. That makes me think she's in the Tel'aran'rhiod, because she like wouldn't expect.
Yeah, but
you know what I mean?
The timing would have to be like perfect. Like she just hung out in the Tel'aran'rhiod and then they got in there at the same time.
You're right. You're right, but also, I don't know. Because
I mean, can they do whatever they want in the show? Yeah. Vashi said, play the other clip. No, well, there's another clip. Is it Moghedien? Is it Rosamund talking about it, or is it an actual clip from the show, Vashi? And I will leave that to our guest if we want to see any more, if this has been enough.
I'm down.
Kritter's like, yeah.
Woo, as long as it's not like 4 minutes long. Yeah, let's do it.
I have not seen where the other clip is. So if someone wants to send me a DM with a link in Blue Sky or on X, you can. Somebody, by the way, let me see what this is. Oh, somebody said in The Quick and the Dead, there might be a picture, that Western picture I want. The Western picture, yeah. It's the actual clip with the Sarkanen. Did I say it right at that time? Sarkanen?
No.
Dang it.
Sarkanen. Think of yourself as a pirate. Sarkanen.
You have to send me a link. I don't know where this clip is at. I played one from yesterday, and
oh my gosh, have you heard the name that we're using for the Sarkanen?
Is it the Choden Ball?
The Choden Ball.
Yeah, Choden Ball. It's a classic. It's a classic.
And then Kalendor's going to be the Sword and Call.
The Sword and Call. I love that one. The Sword and Call and the Choden Ball.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
She's gonna try to use that Tel'aran'rhiod she bought off of Temu. IMDb. I thought we played the IMDb clip. Did we not? Clip. Wheel of Time. Oh, okay. Yeah. Let's see. I thought we just watched this one. Is the one we just watched with Moghedien. So again, you're gonna have to send me a link because I see the IMDb clip up on YouTube, but that is what we just saw with Moghedien that we just played just a moment ago. So we've seen that one. So again, send me a link if you want us to use watch it, and we certainly can. We're not going to stay too much longer. We'll let Kritter get back. Sorry, Kritter. Thank you very much for being here and just chatting with me about this.
It's been fun.
This absurdity, right, of just like
having a good time.
Ridiculous fandom and having a fun time. And I hope you'll come back
definitely
again, maybe like after the season ends, and we'll kind of have like a cathartic look back at like
I love it
at the last 3 years and kind of just like how this thing ended and how we're feeling about things.
Be a season 4 renewal party.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, and that's got to happen out there. I'm gonna throw Kritter. Do I have any mods left? Did they all come back, or did my mods all leave because of we were watching clips? I haven't seen a mod speak in a while, so they might have all left. Mods, if you're out there and you're hearing this, if we can throw Kritter's link in chat with us.
Thank you.
And if no one sends me this link, I'm looking, everybody. I don't see it in either of my inboxes. So, and let's let Kritter get back to life, and yeah, back here, we'll watch that clip tonight. How about that? And our live watch, if you find the clip, send it. We'll watch that this evening as we prepare for episode 5 to drop. And Kritter, thank you so much for being here.
It's been a pleasure.
What a blast, as always, to see you and just kind of chat. And
thanks for having me. Fail's a vampire.
Fail's a vampire,
It's
everybody.
It's the takeaway
I can't
tonight.
wait. And remember my challenge to you: if you're with us tonight, it has to be tonight during the after show, or during the watch itself. You can post it, but it's got to be your best clue that you see in the show that Fail is a vampire, and we'll throw you.
Best thing ever if she only shows up in night scenes. I'm just gonna officially predict that's gonna be the clue.
Awesome. Garth Van Bell. Yeah, feel free to we'll be back here again. We're going to watch that clip tonight. So yes, thank you very much for coming. And yeah, thank you all for putting up with the audio issues. I hate it when that stuff happens during like fun events like that, but thankfully we got it situated and figured out. And it was my fault for updating Streamlabs,
It happens.
It happens, right? Okay, everybody, be back here if you will, please, for part 1. Come live watch with us. It's a lot of fun. And if you can't, be back here for number 2. Part 2 is tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern. And make sure you follow that link that Innkeeper posted and how you can follow Kritter and the Wheel and Chill Show. And as we say around here, good night from the Dusty Wheel. And smash to black. You went right to kill it. Look at you, you're all ready. You're just done. I mean, this is like, this is
really well. And now I'm like, great, my turn.
And if you don't like that and you want to say, well, Robert Jordan could have made the 2 rivers all white. He could have, but he didn't. So,
Just complimented me on my dress, and as you can clearly see, I'm
sad.
not
I see Lukomi as something along the lines of a Shadar Haran analog.
It does make sense why it outlasted the breaking.
Yeah.
See, this is why I have Therese in the show, because she's going to correct everything that
Hey everybody, welcome to the Dusty Wheel Show. What? Remoff Challenge. Yay!
Terrible, like baby face mounted on like a huge body. So like all of a sudden,
this is not just
like,
a traditional fantasy, right? There are sci-fi
and
elements.
Just a moment ago, Rafe tweeted something. So let me get my guest in here with me. And
probably, I would say, put in 70, 80% of the work. I got to be over the shoulder and be like, no,